G'day and welcome to another episode of Kiwi Car Life. And here on the channel I've had the pleasure of driving quite a few different Australian cars. The XR6, XR6 Turbo and Territory FPV were all excellent at three things I'm not particularly interested in: skids, drag races and driving in a dead straight line down a motorway. Because I like my cars with interiors that aren't made from melted down milk bottles and that actually go around corners properly with a red line higher than that of a diesel. Naturally, I wasn't overly fond of Ford's battery-powered offerings. I did, however, thoroughly enjoy the VF SV6 and SSV Redline. So, today we're going to see if the Commodore's brilliance extends back to the early 2000s too with this VY Commodore Clubsport R8. This car, believe it or not, began its life as a Holden Commodore Calais, the luxury model with the 5.7 litre V8, but then it would have been transported to the HSV factory where they installed different front and rear bumpers, a massive spoiler on the back inspired by the V8 supercars, 19-inch wheels to help put down the extra power this engine produces, along with larger Harrop brakes. And then of course there were the upgrades to the engine. Originally these 5.7 litre LS1 engines made a mere 225 kilowatt or 300 horsepower, which is not very much. But fortunately, thanks to the installation of a new intake here at the front, a full stainless steel exhaust system and a remap, HSV managed to bump up from 225 to 285 kilowatt or 380 horsepower, a far more acceptable power figure for an early 2000s V8 engine. And fortunately, this one has its V8 paired up with a 6-speed manual transmission, sending its power to the rear wheels with a limited slip differential, just as it should be with a V8 sports sedan. The smell of burning rubber of one wheel. And now the interior. Fortunately, compared with a normal VY Commodore, which can only be described as a bit of plastic fantastic, in here this has some significant improvements over the standard one. It comes with white gauges, which looks really cool, with a few little screens here and there to show lots of useful information. Not bad for 2003. I love these extra little gauges up the top here with an oil pressure and a voltage gauge, both very useful to have. It's surprisingly well equipped too, with dual zone climate control and a full 6 CD changer down here. Of course, it has leather interior, which extends onto the door cards as well. And these seats adjust electronically and are extremely comfortable, but still with some decent bolsters here. It's easy to look at this interior and be like, oh, well, it's not as good as the European cars, which it isn't. But you have to bear in mind, this car, I was told, brand new, was just $52,000. To put that in perspective, that's the same price as like a mid-range hybrid SUV today. Back in 2003, you could get a full-size V8 manual limited slip differential rear-wheel drive proper sports sedan for 52 grand. So really, this car's shortcomings, especially on the interior front, of which admittedly it's actually not half bad at all, can very much be excused based on what this car costs new. But now, let's take the VY for a drive. Driving the Commodore Clubsport R8. I reckon one of the best things about this car is that it is cable throttle. I've driven a handful of manual V8 cars, but they've all had e-throttles and they're all okay, but they just don't respond quite the way you expect, whereas this, oh, the response is just immediate. It's fantastic. You do have to really stand on the throttle though to get the thing to move. It's got lots of throttle travel, and unfortunately, oh, the weather is not on our side today, but oh, that is a V8 alright, mate. That is a V8 motor. It's fast and it revs and it's got so much torque. Not that much torque like objectively for a 5.7, but hey, it's still a 5.7, man. Oh, this this thing is just a powerhouse, eh? Steering feel, I've got to say, is pretty vague. It's not a incredibly connected car to drive, unfortunately. The brakes are soft, and the gearbox just feels like a truck gearbox. It's not a clinical driving experience in the slightest, but arguably that's not really what this thing is meant for. It's just meant to be a brute of a car and the cheapest, fastest car that you can buy. But yeah, unfortunately, it's just such a mixed bag, right? So like, it's got all the power in the world, but the brakes do not inspire confidence. So it's like really overpowered for the brakes, and the handling, like, yeah, okay, it steps out if you want it to, but it almost kind of steps out, whoa, when you don't want it to as well. Like, especially in the wet, this thing is not like a handling beast. It's just an open road cruiser, which is arguably why I haven't particularly liked the non-HSV or non-FPV cars, because they're just boats, right? They're just a big V8 and a big luxurious car. They're not designed to tear up a back road like this. This is certainly better. It's so controllable, eh? So I think that's the best way I can describe this car. This thing is not an evenly balanced car, right? Something like an M3 or an ISF, the chassis is designed for that level of power. It's not to say that this isn't, right? Like, it can handle it. You can put your foot down whenever you want. But it's more when you come off the throttle and then have to brake and turn into a corner in the M3 or the ISF, you just go around, whereas in this, you're like, ooh, the brakes aren't doing a lot, I don't know what the front end is doing, and it just gets a bit nerve-wracking, you know? The handling is like fine, but I just don't really know what it's doing, and it's so tail-happy, it's ridiculous. In the dry, I think one of these things will probably be quite good. In the wet, it's just a laugh. You can see why Top Gear love these things, because V8 manual LSD. I mean, what more can you ask, right? Oh, listen to that. I wish you could use a few more gears than just second. Whoa, my giddy aunt. This thing is it's just ridiculous. What a silly car. Objectively, it's not an amazing car, right? Especially for the price. It's pretty quick. The interior is fairly average. Gearbox has got long gears, doesn't feel the best. Steering's vague. Brakes are really not up to the task of slowing this thing down because it's seriously quick. But that's not really why you buy this, right? You buy it because when you unleash that V8 engine, your inner Greg Murphy comes out and you are just awash with joy behind the wheel of this thing. It's so bad but also so good at the same time, you know? And yeah, okay, you could go buy an ISF or an M3 or an RS4 or a C63 for the same money and have a far better experience, frankly, you know, more power, whoa. But as far as Aussie cars go, and bearing in mind what this thing costs new, this is a fantastic car. Forget the Barra, forget the Rattletech V6, LS1 and a manual gearbox. That's what you want, my friends. It's just a beast. It's an unstoppable beast. And with that, I shall say, thank you very much for watching, and I will very much look forward to seeing you again next time.